What's going on, everybody? It's your Rifle here, long time no talk, and thanks for checking out my Fallout 4 video. I know it's been about 2 weeks since my last upload. I have to say that is the longest I have ever not uploaded, and that's the truth. But I cooked up something special for you guys since I've been gone for 2 weeks. I put together 11 Easter eggs for you all to enjoy. Hopefully you all do end up enjoying this, and some of these Easter eggs are new to you. Once again, I am sorry I've been gone for such a long time. But anyways, I'm going to be starting these 11 Easter eggs off with the Cask of Amontillado, which is down inside this castle, inside the room that Ronnie Shaw ended up unlocking. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but if you guys actually want to come here and see this Easter egg and you haven't got down into this room, this is part of the main story, just letting you guys know. I know some people don't like to focus on the main story in the beginning of the game, and hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Exploring is just fine with me. Just letting some of you that don't know. The only way that you can get inside this room is from the main story. And in case you guys don't know what this is about, I'll give you a brief summary of it. It was about a jester who was invited to a special wine tasting in the wine cellars. Of course, the jester was excited and he accepted that invitation. When traveling there, he ended up having a bad call from the damn catacombs. And MONTRESOR, sorry if I pronounced that a little weird, it is Italian, but he is the person who invited the jester in the first place, and now he is insisting that the jester should go back since he has a cough. But he insisted on continuing though, claiming that he shall not die from no cough. MONTRESOR mentions to him a little afterwards about his family coat of arms, a golden foot and a blue background crushing a snake whose fangs are embedded in the foot's heel, which basically means no one can harm me unpunished. And then a little after this, the jester ends up holding up a bottle of wine in a mason gesture, and he asks MONTRESOR, "What, you are not of the masons?" MONTRESOR says, "Yeah," but the jester disbelieves him and requests a sign. And basically a little after this, Fortunato, who is a jester, is buried alive behind a wall from MONTRESOR. I know, dark, right? But it gets darker. Right before the last bricks of actually entombing Fortunato alive, only thing that was left to be heard was the jingles from his hat. His voice was forever sealed, even though the last bricks have not been placed. Before placing those last bricks though, MONTRESOR drops a burning torch onto the dampened ground with poor Fortunato. And when I read this line, it just made me think about how dark it actually was behind that wall. I mean, just imagine the torch going out and nothing around you but darkness, and you knew you was never going to escape from here. Pretty dark if you ask me. So as you guys can see in this room, we have the Amontillado bottles, MONTRESOR's name on the Amontillado bottles, and we have poor Fortunato's body entombed behind the wall, chained up. Something else to add with this legend holds that Poe was actually inspired of the Cask of Amontillado from a story he had heard at Castle Island, which was in South Boston, Massachusetts. So that makes even more sense on why they added in this Easter egg in this specific location. I mean, if you really think about this, would this short story and this Easter egg be in this game if Poe would have not had a conversation with the guy who told him this short story? I mean, it's just mind-blowing to think about. Anyways, up next I have for you guys the Lone Wanderer Easter egg, which can be located all around the wasteland, but here is one specifically. Anyways, if you go up to a motorcycle that looks like this, you will notice a text that says Lone Wanderer on it, which in case for some of you that don't know, this is referencing the character you play as in Fallout 3. And something pretty interesting to know, the voice actor of the Lone Wanderer as a baby in Fallout 3 was actually Todd Howard's son on his first birthday. That's just insane, which leads me to my next Easter egg I have for you guys, Todd Howard himself. Which in case you don't know who this legend is, he is the game director and executive producer at Bethesda Game Studios. He basically led the development of the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout titles. Anyways, you can find a picture of him as Napoleon Hill in the Dugout Inn at Diamond City. You will notice the doors are numbered inside. The picture of him will be located behind door number uno. I'm definitely glad they decided to add in this Easter egg of Todd Howard just because he deserves to be recognized. I mean, we're playing his game for Pete's sake. Anyways, next Easter egg I have for you all is supposed to be referencing Stonehenge, which be careful when heading here, there will be a freaking behemoth. But anyways, as you can see, these cars are in formation of Stonehenge, which supposedly was a place of burial. There is, however, many other legends about Stonehenge. One does include giants, which could be a possible reasoning on why the behemoth is home to this place when you come here in the game. Who knows, but a definitely clear reference of Stonehenge. This next Easter egg, not a lot of people catch because it's from an older TV sitcom show called Cheers. This show was set in a bar named Cheers in Boston, where a group of locals would meet to drink here, relax, and socialize. And let me tell you, they really got this Cheers bar in the game looking pretty identical to the actual TV sitcom series. I mean, as you guys can see just looking around, everything is set up pretty identical. They added the bell, the people, the same interior setup. Few things might be different here and there though, but not to mention they even added the postman having a drink, which he was on the show. As you guys can see, there's a postman hat right next to the skeleton. I mean, of course, this is after the nuclear warfare version, but I have to say it was pretty creative that they decided to add this in. I like how they add in a lot of Boston history into the game. It definitely spices up the game overall. Finding this kind of stuff is pretty awesome, especially if you used to watch it. I'm not exactly positive if all the cast members are in here, but it does look like some of them would be part of the cast members in the show too, so keep that in mind. Anyways, up next, since we're in old school, might as well just keep it old school. I'm going to show you guys how to get the Donkey Kong game. Well, it's pretty much like the Donkey Kong. It's set up the same way, except it's called Red Menace, and it's actually located back where you started. Just go to Vault 111, go inside the vault. It's not that confusing to get either. All you're going to have to do is eject it from the holotape. You'll see what I'm talking about. We're going to head to a terminal, and once we click the terminal, we're able to play the Red Menace on the terminal, and we're also able to eject the holotape that allows us to play the Red Menace. It's pretty creative, I have to say. It's kind of like Gameception in a way. It's awesome. It's like playing a video game inside a video game. Oh yeah. But yeah, guys, this is a blast of the past, definitely. This is a parody to the famous 1981 Nintendo arcade game Donkey Kong. I mean, you guys probably already pinpointed that out. I just wanted to let you guys know the year, 1981. That is a blast of the past right there. It just goes to show how far we've come along. We're actually able to play the original Donkey Kong game that was actually an arcade game inside our game that we're just playing now. Fallout 4, we get to play that. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane if you think about it. But yeah, anyways, guys, it's located right back here on this table. And as far as beating it and getting something, I'm not exactly positive if you do, but I did some research and it seems like you don't. Even if you do beat this whole Donkey Kong game, you don't get nothing out of it. But Red Menace isn't the only playable holotape game you can find. There is actually 5 in total, and they are all Easter eggs. Okay, so for the other 4, starting with Zeta Invaders, you can find in Diamond City, just head to the Valentine's Detective Agency. It's not that difficult to find because of the neon red sign it has. Anyways, inside it will be laying on the table. This game is referencing the 1978 arcade game called Space Invaders. And also a tip to keep in mind for some extra bottle caps is for some reason this can be gotten twice. It might be a spoiler to some of you though if you haven't done like the first 4 main story quests. But if you pick this up before rescuing Nick Valentine, it will be there again once you rescue him and get him back to Diamond City. It's pretty nice to know. Anyways, for the next one, it will be located at the Freedom Museum. It will be up on the top floor. It can be kind of confusing inside here, but once you get up to the top floor by taking the staircases, you will see it will be laying right here on this desk in this room next to a terminal. Keep in mind there will of course be enemies inside here, so make sure you come a little prepared. But anyways, this game is actually referencing the 1980 Atari arcade game called Missile Command. As you can see, you have to protect 8 American monuments, which tell the state, from falling atomic bombs. Kind of ironic we find this in the Museum of Freedom. Anyways, the next one is one of my favorites out of them all, just because I used to play this all the time when I was just a wee boy. It will be located at Fort Henge, I believe it's pronounced. Keep in mind, the only way to get to this area and get this holotape game is by completing the main story mission called Reunions. It's pretty early in the game too. Anyways, this game is called Pitfall, which is referencing the classic 1982 Atari game called Pitfall. Basically, you have a certain time limit to get to certain trophies in the game, and in this case, it's 5 bobbleheads in 5 minutes. I have to say I'm happy they added these classics in, especially this one. Keep in mind a guy named Kellogg's, I'm not going to spoil anything else, will be at this place where you get it, and he can be quite a tough opponent. So come prepared. Anyways, up next is my favorite out of them all. It's called Grognik and the Ruby Ruins. It's located in the basement of Memory Den. It will be located on the table to the left when you first enter the basement. Grognik and the Ruby Ruins is basically a classic text RPG game. According to its wiki, it's like titles like The Bard's Tale and Wasteland. So basically you're Grognik the Barbarian on this game, and you get a team you can choose from in the beginning. It gives you their descriptions. You can choose 2 team members, so you can have a squad of 3 in total. But there's quite a variety of teammates you can choose from, and they have different things that they can do. One of them, for instance, puts people to sleep, and it comes in handy in battle because you can do extra damage when the enemy is asleep. Anyways, enough about that. You explore around the map on this game, and you take over territories and kill creatures. You also get rewards for killing those creatures. There is also a shop in this game. You can also continue your save game just by quitting, and when you start it back up, it gives you an option to actually continue where you left off at. So that alone right there just blew my mind. There's also a guy in here that can revive your team if they go down. There's also ways to heal your allies, and they can also have magic powers and powerful attacks you can choose from, but it will cost a certain amount of points that you get a limited amount of. But you can refill those by meditating when in battle. And the main mission in this game is to build your team strong enough to take down Gridlock. I mean, it's just insane how they added this much in. If you haven't tried out this game, I'm telling you guys, try it out. And oh yeah, by the way, these holotape games might be a good idea to store into a game room if you have one made. Anyways, let's get on to the 11th Easter egg, which is the final one. I have you guys a Skyrim reference. Makes perfect sense on why Bethesda would add this reference in, just because, you know, Bethesda also made Skyrim. The reference will be in this boat at the Irish Pride shipyard. A Taboo Tattoos magazine, which has a reference on it, will be inside the ship on the table next to the lantern. I already end up picking up this magazine. You do get a free tattoo when you do end up picking up this magazine, but my footage ended up messing up, so I just ended up laying it back down where it would be at. And by the way, that tattoo is a nuclear radiation symbol. But as you guys can see if you look closely, the similar original design of a warrior with horns on the helmet, as you see in Skyrim, is on this magazine. Definitely a clear reference, but I guess that's about wrapping up this video, everybody. Hope you all did end up enjoying this. I will have more to come in the future. If you have Easter eggs you'd like to share with me, try mentioning them in the comments, by the way. I'll try to cover as much as possible in this game, and with your guys' help, I'm sure I could learn a lot more. But I'm out of here. If you could, please remember to leave a like and or share the video. It is greatly appreciated. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. The support means a lot, but this has been your Rifle. Remember to stay safe out there, think about your future, and don't sleep in peace. 200 years since the last encounter. At the